Chapter 18. Everlasting Arms and Eternal Wings. When Lester received his instrument pilot's license, I began to breathe easier about his flights. I knew the ATC, the air traffic control, could guide him better. He could come down through clouds, and he could make instrument-guided approaches. In every way, he and those flying with him would be safer. He has since flown many people to a new way of life as he has brought them to one of the homes in Georgia, Mississippi, or Texas. There were still many close calls in the flights, but never any serious injuries nor crashes. On July 30, 1960, at the morning church service in Corpus Christi, Lester used an illustration to show that spiritual power can be given and needs met just as God delivered the ancient Israelites in many trying situations. On the previous Saturday night, during a routine flight from Houston to Corpus Christi, the need for a manifestation of God's supernatural power had become evident. Before the flight began, the engine of the four-seat Piper plane had seemed in good form as it was revved up on the runway. Takeoff was easy, and the altitude gain was natural and smooth. Suddenly, while the plane was still within calling distance of the radio at International Airport in Houston, the engine began to cough, sputter, and backfire and cut out. Quickly, he radioed the airport. Immediately, the response came back. "Come in, 64 Zebra. The way is cleared." The tower radioed that the crippled plane had permission to land on any runway it came to. As the faltering plane headed back to Houston's airport, the three passengers prayed for deliverance. When they landed, there was quite a reception on the strip, including 3 fire trucks. There had been a complete and quick evacuation of other planes and equipment to clear the way. An all-out preparation for the saving of 3 lives was made: my husband's, his secretary's, and her husband's. Never had the earth looked sweeter nor people dearer than when they landed safely. The May Day call had been heeded. The word of our God had prevailed, and the angels had once again delivered God's children. On another occasion, on his way to Chattanooga, where the Honeybee Quartet from the Rebecca Home for Girls was to sing at Tennessee Temple, they had to land on the freeway. Leave it to Lester to take advantage of the crowd that gathered in that situation. He got out his Bible and testified to the Lord's power and faithfulness. When they finally made it to the service, Dr. Lee Robertson asked him about the incident, and he said, "Well, the Bible says to go out into the highways and hedges and compel them to come in." A freak near mishap occurred on an approach into the Memphis airport. Stan Williams was flying with him. The radio control tower's system was not working right, and they missed the approach. Visibility was very poor. Lester and Stan received another vector approach, came in and saw the runway, but they ran into a fog bank and had to go back to instruments. About 200 feet off the ground, the twin-engine plane turned upside down, a freakish thing that should have caused them to crash. They saw the gyroscope go upside down. My husband became disoriented and was pulling on the stick, and at the same time Stan was pushing on it. They looked up and saw streetlights. Then they gained some elevation, all the while flying upside down, and managed to get the plane right side up. They turned on the autopilot and got their breath back. They made an approach onto another runway and made it without further mishap. My husband credits Stan's knowledge of instrument flying and the touch of an unseen hand for saving their lives. One of the most serious incidents occurred in 1972 on a return trip from Florida with the Honeybees. A fire broke out in the right engine, and an emergency landing was made. But when Lester tried to open the door, it wouldn't budge. They were trapped inside with a flaming right engine. The only way out was through a tiny window on the pilot's side, and Lester somehow managed it. Later, he had the scraped sides and sore muscles around his ribs to prove it. But he was able to open the door from the outside and rescue the girls. In all these varied experiences, we have seen the everlasting arms and eternal wings of our wonderful Lord. Lester has often said that these things only make him homesick for heaven, but they have given him a greater appreciation for Psalm 121, the beloved psalm that speaks of the great safety of the godly who put their trust in God's protection. "I will lift up mine eyes unto the hills, from whence cometh my help. My help cometh from the Lord, which made heaven and earth. He will not suffer thy foot to be moved. He that keepeth thee will not slumber. Behold, he that keepeth Israel shall neither slumber nor sleep. The Lord is thy keeper. The Lord is thy shade upon thy right hand. The sun shall not smite thee by day, nor the moon by night. The Lord shall preserve thee from all evil. He shall preserve thy soul. The Lord shall preserve thy going out and thy coming in from this time forth and even forevermore. What a comfort it is to know that God is the bodyguard of his saints. And not only does he keep us, but he gives us refreshment as he renews us and sends us daily on our way.